Hello and welcome everyone to this lesson, which is about agreements, grammatical agreements. Let me share my screen with you and see that there are three categories of agreement that I have chosen to go over with you today. The common mistakes take place in these three categories: subject, verb, noun, pronoun, and determiner, noun. So let's start by looking at two very basic rules that you learn very easily and quickly right at the start of your English studies, and they are: add s to make a noun plural, for example, one girl, two girls, and add s to make a verb, third person singular. Two girls dance, one girl dances. So a bit confusing, that's the English language, but this is where the most common mistakes come from, forgetting these two rules, particularly dropping the s. You just need to pay a bit more attention here. So having now pointed this out, we can look at the other mistakes that you saw in the first slide: subject, verb, noun, pronoun, determiner, noun. And these mistakes come from the many irregularities and exceptions of the English language. So don't beat yourself up for making them. We all do. So, and the purpose, as I said, is to gradually become aware of them and get rid of them so that you feel more confident in using the language. So let's start with the first category, subject, verb. I've got five different groups in this category. The first group is when we have a singular form, which is usually an adjective, that refers to a category of people. For example, the rich, combined with the word the rich, all rich people, the poor, all poor people, the elderly, the unemployed, etc. When we see the word, it's a singular word, adjective, obviously, and we think, oh, singular verb. No, it needs to be plural because we're talking about a group of people. So the elderly not is, but are a source of wisdom, for example. That's straightforward. Just something to remember. Next one is when the plural form refers to a single entity or a single unit. For example, countries with S at the end of their name, plural names, basically, the United States, or a sum of money, $300. Again, we see the S, we think it's plural verb. No, it's one unit, one entity. Use a singular verb. $300 was a bargain price. Next one, third group in this category, subject, verb mistakes, is when the plural form has no S. Irregular plurals. The four common ones that I often hear mistakes with are men, women, people, children. So people particularly, everyone uses, not everyone, but I think 90% of the time I hear this mistake with people. People has. People is the plural of person, so many people have refused to vote. Now, there are two exceptions here, and they are the words data and media. They are irregular plurals of datum and medium. They are irregular plurals, but you will hear both singular and plural verbs with them when native speakers use them. These are usually common native speaker mistakes that have become acceptable. So although the grammatically correct form is more data have been collected, you're very likely to hear more data has been collected. So I haven't crossed has out as a mistake, but as an alternative, which is grammatically incorrect, but acceptable. So you can use it if you want. And now we come to the fourth group in this category, subject, verb. And that's when the singular word, which is uncountable, happens to end in S. And examples are news, diabetes, physics. These are singular and they're uncountable. So because we see the S, we think, a plural noun, not necessarily. So be careful. It's no news, is good news. A note and an exception for this group. There are three common words: series, and plural form. So you have to remember in your context if you're using them as a singular word or a noun or a plural noun. So we would say some TV series are terrible, some series, but this series, one, is good. Again, an exception within this group, the word headquarters is the same as series, species, and means. It is both singular and plural, so we should really use singular when it's one headquarters, but you will hear both. Our headquarters has or have moved to Dublin, right? Okay, and the final group within this category, subject-verb mistakes, is when the singular form refers to a group. For example, team, staff, government, board, family, etc. Now, in this case, both a singular verb and a plural verb are grammatically correct, but it's a little bit context related which one is better to use. Particularly if the action, if the verb, is being carried out by each individual member of the group, then it's better to use a plural verb. So when we're talking about the board as one thing, like the board is composed of 7 people, obviously it's singular. The board is, one board is composed of 7 people. But when we're talking about this board meeting, so now we're thinking of each individual member of this board of management, board of directors, it's better to say the board meet, particularly in British English. Meets is not wrong grammatically and is sometimes even common in American English. So we can't say it's wrong. You have a choice, but I would recommend you use the plural form. There's one exception here, and that's police. In both British and American English, it's always plural. So here it's wrong to say the police has. You have to say the police have been informed. Right? So as you can see, there's all exceptions, irregularities. Again, I repeat, don't beat yourself up when you make subject-verb agreement mistakes. You just need revision, revision, revision. Okay, that brings us to the next category, which is noun-pronoun mismatch or disagreement sometimes. And the common ones, the ones I've chosen, are the ones I often hear. There may be others. The first one is using he, him, or his instead of it and its when referring to an object. So obviously you know this, but it's very common mistake that I hear. So don't say every theory has his faults, but its faults. You need to activate the word its, I-T-S, without the apostrophe. And then from this comes the mistake of using its instead of their when the object is plural. So, for example, if you go from every theory has its faults to all theories, you need to change its to their. All theories have their faults, right? And one other in this category, only one more, and that is using again he, his, or him with indefinite pronouns that refer to people, for example, everybody, nobody, someone, etc. For these words, you should use they, them, and their. And in this case, they, them, and their are called genderless pronouns. So the example would be someone knocked, but by the time I opened the door, the mistake would be he had left. We don't know if the someone was male or female. So the correct pronoun to use here is they had left. The alternative is to say he or she had left, but this is not the best option. It makes your sentence long and a bit awkward. Okay, so that's that category. And the final category is determiner noun mistakes. The most common one I hear is using this or that before a plural noun. So instead of saying this people know each other, you need to say these You have to activate the words these and the next one, those. Our evaluation was based on not that criteria. Criteria is also a plural noun, so those criteria. Next one in this category is using the word another with a plural noun. Very common mistake. So I very often hear, oh, there are another drawbacks. The word you need to use here is other. There are other drawbacks. You could say there is another, an is singular, right? There is another drawback, but there are other drawbacks. And the last one in this category is using a plural noun after each and every. Again, I don't hear this very often, but I have come across it. So, example, new species are dying out each day, not each days. Or, and not every people must take responsibility, every person must take responsibility. Or, and just to remind you, although it's every person, because we don't know if it's he or she, we must use the genderless pronoun for their actions. So that's the mistakes I wanted to point out, mention in these three categories. But before we end, there are two other mistakes that don't fall into these categories, but I thought I should mention to you. The first one is a very common native mistake, and it's becoming more and more common. You will start hearing it. And that is, you will hear things like, there is a lot of books on this topic. Now, we know, we learned very early in our English studies that books is plural, so we have to use the plural form. There are a lot of books on this topic. Or 20 people, that people is plural. There were 20 people at the party. But yeah, just if you watch television and pay attention to this structure, you will notice that more and more native speakers are just going, there's a lot of books, there was 20 people. I would personally avoid this, but okay, your choice. And the final thing, a very common mistake we make as non-native speakers, and that is in this kind of structure, saying something like, one of my friend has an electric car. It's one of many friends. So the noun has to be plural. But of course, the verb agrees with one, that one particular friend, and therefore it's one of my friends has an electric car. Okay, that's the end of the presentation. I hope it has helped you maybe identify some of the mistakes you've been making, and without panicking about it or stressing yourself about it, gradually begin to get rid of them. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. For more on this topic, click here. Remember to also check out my complete online course, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and happy studies!